Sills! Philadelphia, I officially dub you the Rodney Dangerfield of sports. You never get any respect. You just don't get any respect. Hey, guess what? I could come up with some stupid ass statistic or some sort of metric to show you that an elephant can actually fly. Okay? I mean, if I really had to, I could show you how I could hold an elephant with its tail off a cliff with my two fingers if I came up with some sort of index. So ESPN comes up with this BCS type metric. And what they're doing here is it's like they're trying to justify the ratings magnet that is the Dallas Cowboys as being better than you. And when you look at this thing, what is it called? The power index? Football power index? Who gives a shit what it's called? KC, Baltimore. I get, hey, if you want to argue Baltimore and Philly with me, I'm in for that. I don't think Kansas City's better than Baltimore. Kansas City, Baltimore, the Bills, the Niners, the Dolphins, the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Chargers, the Bengals. Those are your top 9 teams. What do every single one of those teams have in common except for Philly? What do they all have in common? They're some of the most inconsistent teams in the league. So you don't get credit for record or consistency. See, what they're doing is they're looking at the front end of your schedule and saying, well, they didn't really play anybody. And they kind of been hanging on. You know, I'll disagree with Angelo a little bit. You're 8-1. You're 8-1. I don't care how you drive to get to your destination. As long as you get to your destination, you arrived on time. You know, you get credit for showing up on time. Well, they really didn't look. You know, you had a couple breakdowns. Did you show up on time? Yes. Okay. You get credit for that. You absolutely get credit for showing up on time and showing up every weekend. Has Kansas City showed up every weekend? Ask them about Denver. Then they'll go, what about the Jets? And I'll turn around and look at you and go, hey, man, what about Detroit? Home opener? Dropping the flag? Raising up the championship banner? And Jared Goff goes into your crib and beats your ass down? Okay, well, I don't know. Baltimore, you lose to the Colts? The Bills, you could call them the Buffalo Weebles because they wobble and they do fall down. And I like that team. Even the coach today, Sean McDermott, came out and said, we're too inconsistent. The Dolphins, can I tell you who the Dolphins are? The Dolphins are Spider Rico. The Miami Spider Ricos. The Cowboys. Hey, man. Hey, you want to know what a scam is? You know how people call you up and want to get like a money card off you because, you know, you got to pay a bill and it's some dude sitting in his mom's basement wearing a Fat Guinea t-shirt. He goes, hey, man, you got to pay your electric bill. Can you send me a money card? That's who the Cowboys are. The Cowboys are scam artists. You got the Eagles. Hey, have they played great? No, but they play better than anybody in the league this year so far. Dude, I can't believe I'm defending you. I can't believe I'm defending you like this. The Chargers? Dude, of all teams on this list, the Chargers. Here, do you notice something? Watch this. Mahomes, face of the league. Baltimore, East Coast, right there in the hub. Buffalo, Josh Allen, great fan base. 49ers, best team on the West Coast. Miami, You get the South Florida demo. Cowboys, national demo. Eagles, the hatred. Chargers, Los Angeles. Bengals, the highest paid player in the league. That's what you're doing here. This is not a metric for telling me who's good. This is a metric for telling me how you can cover the league. These are all, get this, these are all the top teams that have some of the highest social media engagement. When you go to X, this is a social media engagement list. This is like just a total slap in the face again. Man, Philadelphia, you are the Rodney Dangerfield of sports, and it's not even, get this, they're not even trying to freaking hide it anymore. They're not even trying to hide it on you. That Philly, screw them. Those people are assholes. What? Hey, are you crazy? I was like, come on, man. Holy cow. ESPN. You got to love them, man. They'll do anything it takes. By the way, you see him defending Jim Harbaugh now? Yeah, ESPN and Fox have a vested stake in that. You take Michigan off that, man, guess what you take? You take ratings away. They don't want to take any of that shit away. Are they wrong? Yeah, that list is totally wrong. Dude, you want to debate Baltimore with me? I'll do that. You want to debate Baltimore and a healthy San Francisco? I'm in. The rest of those teams? No, thank you. Miami? The Chargers? Shit, man, they're going to be battling it out whether or not to have a 500 team this year. 49ers? Sure, okay, I'll debate that. Dude, there's 3 teams in the league right now playing the best ball. And if you want to throw Cincinnati in there, go ahead. They're rapidly getting better and better every week. Sure. There's like 4 teams. Cincy, Baltimore, the Eagles, and the Niners. The rest of them, take the field if you want. I'll take one of those 4 teams is going to win the Super Bowl. Okay, Kansas City. By the way, Bill Moss, the former NFL Rookie of the Year, works with the broadcast team for the Kansas City Chiefs, former All-Pro, will join us at 5:30 Eastern. Tone will also join us with a segment. That'll be at 3:30 as he does each and every single day. Speaking of Tone, I'll tell you what, man. You know what a flag-waving fan is when you listen to him talk sometimes about his birds. I heard him and Rob talking about, you see that 27 million people, hey, it was all Eagles. And I'm like, you're so full of shit. Then I had to actually do some homework. Is he wrong? Listen to this. 8 weeks of the season so far. Are the Eagles a draw like the Cowboys? You don't really, I don't, they're not, no way are they a draw like the Cowboys. No way. By the way, it's the most watched television program of the year so far. Okay? Outside the Super Bowl, it's the most watched television program. Eagles and Cowboys shows you the power of the NFL. So I went back and looked at the first 8 weeks of the season, first 9 weeks of the season. Is Tone right? Are the Eagles a draw? Are they maybe America's blue-collar team? Both teams get credit for the number 1 show with that 27.1. Actually, let's go the other way. Week 1. Versus the Giants. The Cowboys. 20.18 million people watched the Cowboys and the New York Giants play. That was number 4. The Eagles played New England. 21.35. Number 3. Okay. Second week. Cowboys, number 1, 25.78, New York and Dallas. That was number one. Eagles played Minnesota. Who? For sixth. 15 million people in week 2. I don't think that's a bad number, actually. Week 3 against the Bucks. 5th, 13-7. Cowboys didn't show up in the top 5. Week 4 versus Washington. 6th, 13-2. Cowboys versus New England, 23-3. That was 2nd. Week 5 against the Rams, 16-8 for the Eagles for 4th. Versus the Niners, 24-9. That was number 1 for the Cowboys. By the way, that 49er-Eagle game is going to get gargantuan numbers. Week 6, Eagles, number 1. Most watched television show that week, 26.4 versus the Jets. Dallas, number 2, 19-6. Week 7 versus Miami, number 2 watched television show, Eagles and Dolphins. Dallas didn't show up. Last week versus the Rams, 19-9-8, number 2. So there is some, and the 27-1 this past Sunday, making it the number 1 watched television show outside the Super Bowl. Eagles are a draw. You're one of the most watched television shows of the year. How come you don't get the respect with the national media then? It's almost like the fans love you, but the media doesn't. I don't think the media has respect for Philly. I think the NFL fan does. These television ratings dictate that. Get this. Everything today is measured on clicks, views, and TV ratings. Not whether you're good. Pretty impressive. Dallas still probably by a niche. It's still the number 1 most watched television show every year. Okay? But I would put the Eagles right there in the top 3 TV shows of the entire year. That's really awesome for Hurts, for the team, the organization, the exposure of Philadelphia. That's great stuff, man. That's great shit. It really is. That means the exposure that Jalen Hurts is getting is probably one of the reasons why he's one of the top candidates to be the MVP this year. I think he's trending up to be the MVP. I really do. I think he's trending up. This is going to be that San Francisco game. By the way, Kansas City and San Francisco are going to be some of the highest rated games of the year when they come out of their bye week. Jalen Hurts is a story, even though the national media doesn't want to quantify it. Look what ESPN does. ESPN doesn't even think you're really one of the better teams in the league. They kind of think you are. The nation loves watching you and Jalen Hurts. You know why? Because they can identify with Hurts. You have something in common with him. Blue collar, hardworking, underdog. That's what the league needs to be promoting. He's the ultimate underdog. MVP is a joke. It's a media darling award. Totally true. Look, you can't shit on Mahomes, dog. Ryan, Patrick Mahomes last year and what he's done over 5 years. Come on now. I'll tell you this. If anybody else wins the MVP, Lamar Jackson probably is in that conversation. But if anybody else wins that thing and Hurts doesn't win it and he continues to play the way he's playing, come on. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? All right, let's get into the topics. We're going to do something completely different here on the off week. And we're going to take a different direction here. As of February 23, the Eagles have accumulated more all-time views on YouTube than any other NFL football league franchise, according to data from Martech and Buzz My Videos. The Eagles' total 146 million was well above the 107.4 million generated by the Cowboys. That's a great story. Now, the Cowboys have a bye in there too. And, you know, they didn't play as many games, but that's a heck of a number there. Okay? Now, the Cowboys have one less game to also see. Come on there, Tone. I know we're going here with it. I got it, but, you know, we got one less game there, Hoss. Hey, by the way, I think it's amazing. This is prior to the season. Oh, wow. That's great, man. Fantastic. Good stuff, man. Flag waving Eagle guys, man. I love listening to them, man. Do you know much content I get out of that? All right. Let's go into some topics. I got a whole bunch. We're going to go kind of off the charts here a little bit, but I do want to start the show off with this. What does Sean Desai and Brian Johnson have to do to keep their jobs? What do they have to do in 2023 to keep their jobs and not be replaced at the end of the year? Because right now, do you think their jobs are safe? Dean, sprain likely, going to go to IR. I'm done talking about him. I really am. I'm not talking about a guy who's always broken down. I'm done with Dean. Until he shows me he can play, I'm really done with that guy. Okay, I'm done with it. How many people believe that the coordinators' jobs are safe? You think their jobs are safe? No, that's not fair, Purdy. That Dean's not a player. You don't know that. Dean can't stay healthy is the facts. Dean, not a player, is not a fact yet. Unsure? Okay. Art thinks that the coordinator jobs are safe. Okay. Writers called the modern standard of success. The Eagles, the modern standard of success. I wouldn't go there with that. You got to win. You mean the Chiefs? No, they are not safe. Season is far from done. What do they have to do to keep their jobs? I don't think they're safe at all. I think they'll be replaced as quick as Doug Peterson was. If you can replace Doug Peterson, you can replace these guys. Okay? And get this. They're 8-1. And remember what I told you yesterday. You've won 22 of 26, and if you don't close the door again, and you go on this great run, and you don't validate it, that's a problem. What do they have to do to keep their jobs? Get to the conference title? Get to the Super Bowl? Get to the playoffs? Man, that shit's not good enough. Do they have to do exactly what Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon did? You don't get fired if the team is winning. Really? So if you win a Super Bowl, you don't get fired. Right? So wait a minute. You fired Doug Peterson because he had 4 wins, but yet you don't take that into account that he won you a Super Bowl. That guy just said he'd fire Doug Peterson for 4 wins, even though he won you a chip. That whole Doug Peterson scenario was a colossal organizational meltdown. not a Doug Peterson issue. He was part of it. But his success in Jacksonville is showing you that whole scene was full of shit. Doug Peterson got fired and won you a Super Bowl. And you think if you don't win a Super Bowl, but you win a ton of games, you keep your job? Marty Schottenheimer was 14-2. Lost his job in San Diego. You keep your job. Kellen Moore was fired last year for 12-4. Shit. Eric Bieniemy was told to get the hell out of Kansas City because he had to go try to find another job somewhere because he was going nowhere in KC. He wasn't fired, but he took a lateral move. Hey, dude, assistant coaches are gypsies. Bare minimum, they have to make it to the bowl. And it all depends how they perform in the game as well. Anything less, it's right, it's criminal. I'm going to tell you one more time. You put up some sort of 14-win season again, and you win 28 games in 2 years, and you don't win a Super Bowl, I am going to put a death grip on you and tell you that what you've done is nothing. Nothing. Hey, you can put up all the points and yards you want, sacks. What's it mean in the end? Are you trying to get those guys jobs? Or are you trying to win a Super Bowl? What are you trying to do here? I think those guys, in my opinion, I think they at least, at minimum, Sean Desai's got to get to the NFC title game to keep his job. I think he's got more deficiencies on that side of the ball to deal with. So I may give him a tick more latitude. Because of the way the organization thinks, they don't spend money on that side of the ball. Brian Johnson has no excuses. He cannot have that thing look worse. And I'm not saying it does. Because they're asking him to also come into a system. You got to remember something about these coordinators. This is not their systems. This is the Philadelphia Eagles systems. They're adapting to the players, which is the right thing to do. Okay? They have to adapt. This is not their systems. This is not Brian Johnson's system. He's worked in it. That's not Sean Desai's defensive system. He's working in it. So he's also had to adapt. Let me tell you something, guys. I think one of the most undercover things here in this whole process with these coordinators, they're doing things that maybe they have never done before. Johnson, on the other hand, has been involved with it as a quarterback coach. Desai's not. And just because you know Vic Fangio doesn't mean you work with the personnel in Philly. Don't you think that's taken some time also of an adjustment for Sean Desai to have to go through? If a player comes from college and he comes into the NFL, isn't that an adjustment? Desai not running this defense, kind of something like it, but still not it. Isn't that an adjustment? You got to give him some latitude. He's got more of an adjustment to make. Brian, on the other hand, has worked in this system. Okay? They're running an organizational system here, these coordinators. It's a pretty tough task. You know the advantage that Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon have over these two current coordinators? Those guys implemented that system. These two guys have been asked to run Jonathan Gannon's defense and Shane Steichen's offense. Think about that. When you have more autonomy and more creativity to do something, and it's yours, don't you think you have more latitude? That's why it's a little bumpy on both sides. The coordinators, this is not their job. This is not, you see a little more blitzing when it comes to Desai. I think these coordinators have had a pretty tough job. Fourth most championship appearances past 30 years. Congratulations to you. You got one Super Bowl. Means nothing. The New York Giants in the past, what? Since 2000, New York Giants get more Super Bowls than you. What's that mean, Ryan? Great. The Andy Reid somewhat dynasty thing you like to call led you to nothing. Led you to nothing. Stop doing that. Stop celebrating second place. You sound like the Cowboys. Well, we've gone farther than Dallas. You're comparing yourself to Dallas? Stop doing that. You need to be comparing yourself to Kansas City and New England. Get this. You want to hear something I keep hearing people say, and I hear a ton of people say this about the Patriots. Look at how horrible that thing's been for 4 years. I'll take 24 years of what they did in 4 shitty years for 6 Super Bowls. Any day, any night, anytime. Stop it. It's been 25 years of dominance. 4 years of shitty ball for 6 Super Bowls. Would you trade that in? It means the franchise has been consistent. Congratulations. Seriously. Man, I can't believe. What did you think? Name me a dynasty in the NFL that's lasted 25 years. Name me one. Name me one dynasty. Steelers? You make it sound like you've never had a dynasty. You've never had a dynasty in football. Maybe Penn back in the 20s. I don't know. But you've never had a dynasty in professional football in Philadelphia ever. Don't talk like you've had one. Seals, do you think Desai is doing better, equal, worse? I think he's doing a better job. I think he's got a tougher job. Mike, when I look at Sean Desai, he is being asked to run Jonathan Gannon's defense with lesser talent in the secondary and aging corners and suspect linebackers. And you know where they're really winning? There's 2 areas that Sean Desai is doing a great job. What is it? Run defense and points allowed. Hey, dude, I'll tell you what. I'll let a football team throw for 595 yards on me. You score 23 points and you throw up 595 yards on me and you only score 23, I'm going to take that every day in the NFL. Today's NFL, I'll take that every day. But still, dude, points allowed. Red zone defense. Moderate standard success NFC over a prolonged period. Dude, 1 Super Bowl is not a prolonged success. It means you're consistent. That's it. The Giants have more Super Bowls than you. Okay, in your own division since 2000. The Giants, and that thing's a train wreck. Stop doing that. Dude, I'm not going to debate second place finishes. I got all over Michael Parsons' dumbass yesterday. Look, I'm just saying this. Not even where I'm going. The coordinators have a tough job. Someone's going to be the scapegoat if they don't win the Super Bowl this year. How about this? Think about what you're talking about here. Let's say A.J. Brown gets 1,900 yards. Jalen Hurts throws for 4,400 yards. Let's say Jalen wins the MVP and you don't win the Super Bowl. Is someone getting fired? How about this? Like I said, What if AJ went, he's trending this way, so why not think it? What if he goes for 1,900 yards, 15 touchdowns, has 100 catches, first receiver in Eagle history to have 100 catches? Okay? Jalen throws for 4,500 yards, breaks the single season record set by Wentz. Say he throws for 35 touchdowns, ties the record, and you don't win a Super Bowl. Someone getting fired? It's why the star is envious. It's what I'm getting at. The star is not envious of you, Ryan. They're oblivious to you. They think you're not relevant when you are relevant. There's where I will agree with you. Okay? The Cowboys are delusional. The Eagles at the NovaCare Center are not delusional. They don't look at the Eagles as a contemporary. They look at the Eagles as a means to an end. Like I tell you what, like what Tom was saying, I had to look up the TV numbers. Very compatible. Dallas thinks that 27 million was Dallas, not you. I think you're just there for the ride with them. That's what Jerry thinks. Okay? I mean, these coordinators have had such a tough time. I think this bye week is going to really help them also, because they got to get in the laboratory here, and they got to figure some things out. And you know what that is? Slowing down the passing attacks against them, figuring out and settling down on personnel decisions. Don't put Sidney Brown out there. Okay, just do not. Do not put Nakobe Dean out there unless you're blitzing him. You want to blitz Nakobe? I'm okay with that. I'm okay bringing him on blitzes. Settle down with the linebackers, communication, cohesiveness. Play war games during this off week. The coaches, in my opinion, have to be in the library. If I'm Brian Johnson, I've got to add some wrinkles to the second half. Nothing stupid, but something that gets others open, especially now since you have one less weapon. What do I do with Swift? Hey, does Julio Jones have anything left? Or was that just an anomaly? Him catching that touchdown. Dude, if you look over the last 4 years, the guy hasn't been relevant since 17. People think he's just going to get plugged in and look like Julio Jones 2015. He ain't that guy. He's not that guy. So you got to figure out a way to get him to somewhat look like that guy. Okay? Peter goes, Brian Johnson is vanilla. I'm okay with vanilla. I like vanilla, but put some sprinkles on it. You know, drop some sprinkles on it, man. Fancy it up a little bit. Maybe some more formations. I'm not talking about confusing people, but I'm talking about not giving you the same look each week, especially as you go into the second half and into this next 5-6 game run. Do you have to improve the run game? You know what? The run game can be improved as long as the passing game starts to pick up too. You know, if you go to a short pass game, Tom Brady made a 7 Super Bowl career out of checkdowns. You know, there's nothing wrong with 2 plays and 3 plays in the NFL that people, they somehow just freak out on. Punting, throwaways, and checkdowns. Tom Brady made a career out of those plays. How many Super Bowls did Tom Brady win kicking field goals early in his career? 3? There's nothing wrong with that. I think that no risk it, no biscuit mentality is a poor one. Okay? You're not going to win with plus 25 plays. You're going to win with moving the sticks and winning first and second down. Again, you're right. I'm awake. 8-1. You better win it, dude. You were 8-1 a year ago. You better win it. There is no question. 22 or 26, you better win it. So what you guys are all saying, every time that you put that up there, I want Lombardi. Happy my team's not a shit show. Completely, Ryan. You keep putting those records up. Because if you don't win, I'm going to choke you out. Because personally, you know what I think of your coaches. You got coaches in here who, in my opinion, are being asked also. You know what? It doesn't shock me now that I think about it, that Desai and Johnson, not so much Brian Johnson. You asked Kobe Dean to do you asked him to do a job that completely was unattainable. And now you're asking Sean Desai to come in here and run somebody else's defense. But that's an organizational decision. And you got such good players that they're winning. And hey, and for the record, the reason you're winning is because these guys, their attitudes, their desire to win, their unfinished business, all of that. That's right, Wheels. It's Super Bowl. Hey, can I tell you this? I wouldn't give too much about really high expectations. If you were 9-8 and you won the Super Bowl, we'd all be going, let's just do this. How many times do you guys come in here and tell me on a daily basis, still 17, kind of popped up on us? How many days do you think after the Super Bowl were you still doing this? I can't believe we won. You're not saying that now. You're saying we better win, right? Aren't you saying that now? How many days after that Super Bowl did you do this? Dad, I can't believe we won. How many days? 3? A month? How long did that go on? I can't believe we won. How many days did you have that conversation at dinner where you put your fork down and maybe it was a month after the Super Bowl and you went, I can't believe it. Tone goes, I still say that to this day. You ain't saying that now. Now you know what you're saying now? You better win. Look at the difference in mentality. Okay? You know what it tasted like to win it and what you felt like. Now you see you have a team that you feel is better than the 17 team. You felt that way the last 2 years. I've never seen a fan base have more anxiety attacks in my life than the Philadelphia Eagle fan base. Get this. I'm not sure I could watch a game with you guys. You guys must be miserable to watch games. I mean, do you enjoy watching the Eagles play on Sundays or do you not? Do you guys enjoy watching your team play? Or is it really just completely agita? You guys get agita and like upset stomachs and shit like that because it surely doesn't seem that you enjoy. I don't know, man. Do you enjoy? Hey, like, can your wife and family and kids be in the same room with you when you're watching games? My best moments is when the game is over. I wonder how many TVs Tone's thrown shit through or thrown radios or what have you. Hey, get this. How come when I think of Philadelphia Eagle fans, hey, how come when I think of you guys, I think of this. You see how we won by 3 points? What the hell's going on with that offense? Holy shit. And they're going, wait till I hear Cilio. I know exactly what he's going to say because he's going to hammer us. We're 8-1. I'm just like Angelo yesterday. Hey, I must be the biggest jackass on the planet. I get it. Right? I'm totally with him on this. I don't know what it is. It's got to be a New England thing. It's got to be an East Coast thing. Because you know what? You know what you're making me? You guys are making me. When I watch Eagle games, I'm like this. Holy shit. 3rd and 3. Why are you chucking it down the field? Stunad. Why are you doing that? Hurts is a calming force. Major trust in him. Yes. Yes. Angelo was right. Our secondary. Hey, look at this. See, look what he. Hey, okay. Our secondary sucks. Well, at this point a year ago, combined, you're 16-2. How you feeling? Wait a minute. Last year at this time, combined, you're 16-2. There's something wrong with this team. I don't know what it is. And I'm going like this. I get ripped so I can relax. Bear. Oh, my God, Madon. Oh, man. I love it. All right, we're going to do something different today. You know what we're going to do? We are going to start looking, and this is the time of the year you can start doing this, especially when you get the bye. We're going to look at a little work for Howie here. I want you to tell me the positions. If Garoppolo was my quarterback, I'd have ulcers. Probably so. I want you to give me the positions that you think he has to replace this coming offseason. I have prospects for the NFL draft and also free agents for 2024. I got these from a friend of mine in the NFL that also works in Bledsoe. So what we're going to do here, we're going to look at areas of the football team that need an upgrade. And continuing, because you know this. You know what Howie's doing on a daily basis in the off week? This is a time he gets to catch up on college personnel and potential free agents in 24. This is where the scouting department brings him the potentials for April. Every team goes through it. Players go away. And what they start doing is they start looking at the top 50 prospects for 24. Okay? You'll meet in the morning on what's going on with what we're doing now. And then in the afternoon session, Howie will come back with his pro and college personnel guys, and they'll start putting a list together. 2 boards. Potential 24 free agents, top 50 college football. Sometimes some teams go 75. Okay? All right? Thank you, Ryan. Means a lot to me. What running back? I got about 30 people too here. Running back? No, they don't need another DT. No, because I'm okay if Fletcher wants to come back. If Fletcher wants to come back, I'm okay with having him come back. Corners, LB. By the way, I have grades on these guys too. Edge. Tight end. Okay. I happen to agree with that. Personally, for me, I'm going to rank them this way. You need corners desperately. I think you need another safety. I think you need another edge. I think you need a linebacker. And I think you need a tight end and more depth in the O-line. So here are my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Corner 1, safety 2, edge 3, linebacker 4, tight end 5, OL 6. Let's take a look at that. I wrote some of these guys down here, and I also contacted Kevin Colbert, who's now a consultant for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he gave me some guidance on this, on some of the top prospects. Free, and by the way, free agency too. We got grades from some of the people he knows. Kevin Colbert was the general manager of the Pittsburgh Steelers for over 20 years. A couple Super Bowls, dear friend of mine. Met him when he was in Detroit. And also I talked with some people in Carolina, and we talked to some people in Jacksonville. So we came up with these names here for Howie to take a look at as we're now in the bye, as some of the players potentially that you could look at. in the college draft, and then in free agency that will be potential 24 free agents, okay? I think the top corners with the 9th ranking, Kool-Aid McKinstry from Bama will be a guy. I love the kid. Pretty big kid. I think he's a really good-looking prospect, probably not in your range on where you're going to finish. Remember, you're going to be at the bottom of the draft. Unless he moves up, a guy like Kool-Aid is not going to be there for you at corner unless you move up. Now, you're going to have autonomy with all your draft picks to be able to move up, potentially get a guy like Kool-Aid. I think he's the best corner in the draft. Cooper Dijon from Iowa. I'm not a Big Ten guy in corners. Name me a quarterback in the Big Ten that you look at and you go like this. Does the Big Ten produce quarterbacks? Name me a quarterback currently in the NFL that you think is a superstar quarterback that came out of the Big Ten. C.J. Stroud. Who else? Who else? Name. Okay, Stroud. Who else? In the last 5 years, name me a quarterback out of the Big Ten that challenges corners. I said 5 years, dude. Name me another quarterback that challenges cornerbacks in that conference. Name me a quarterback who's a big-time starter in the NFL out of the Big Ten. Name me one. Okay? I did. No. Doc, I didn't shit on Stroud. I shit on the fact that Ohio State's never produced one. You can't. So when I hear somebody talking to me, and I hear somebody talking to me about cornerbacks in the Big Ten, I kind of struggle with that. Can you name me a corner in the Big Ten right now playing in the NFL that makes you feel, wow, he's really great? Can you? I think it matters who you're playing against. Don't be shitting on the Big Ten. Name me a quarterback outside of Stroud that starts in the NFL that you go, wow, he's great. Name me one. Name me a corner in the NFL who you think was a superstar corner in the NFL right now. Okay, that's my point. Lattimore, okay, so you got a corner and you got one quarterback. That's not a really high average, okay? Witherspoon's doing a good job. He's a rookie. Really nice. You got two. So I have to see more. He's 6 feet, 207. I don't know. I'd have to see more game tape on him. Tyler Nubin, Minnesota, another guy. I don't know. I like the kid from Penn State. A little short, though, 5'11". The kid Lassiter from Georgia. I love that. Now, again, you start putting too many Georgia guys on the team, right? Some of the edge rushers in college. JT Tuamula, Ohio State, 6'4", 270. He's got a pretty good rating on him. He's in the 30s. That's somebody you look at. The kid Sanders from Texas, tight end, 38 rating. Probably a little too high for Howie. Howie's probably going to want to go in the 4th or 5th or 6th round. Somebody like that. Hey, guys, give it a break. You got one quarterback out of the Big Ten in the last 5 years that's worth a shit. You can play cornerback all you want in that conference and no one challenges you. End of story. There's no quarterbacks in the Big Ten. Can you name me one guy out of Michigan outside of Brady that has ever been a star in the NFL? Outside of Stroud, can you ever name me a quarterback at Ohio State? No. The two biggest programs in Big Ten history have been horseshit at the quarterback position. End of story. There's no debate. Chuck Fusina, Kirk Cousins. Okay. You got me, Kirk Cousins. I actually said last 5 years, but hey, keep reaching, guys. Joe Burrow. Keep reaching. Keep reaching. That's like drafting Carson Wentz out of North Dakota State. Or Trey Lance. They don't play against anybody. You better put up big numbers. Those guys were so athletic and so not for those programs, they dominated. When they got into the NFL, one guy was good for a bit. The other guy never. Jason, once again, English is something that is a priority here. 5 years. TJ Tampa, Iowa State, cornerback, probably in your range. Keep an eye on. I love this kid, Jonah Ellis. I hope that, you know who he reminds me of? Hassan Reddick. This is Luther Ellis's kid. And I talked to Ty Willingham about him. And I tell you, man, 6'2", 246. He's 42. Here's a guy right here I think could be better than Nolan Smith. He's a true edge rusher. This kid can play. I might vote for him for All-American. I actually like him. He's a good-looking player. Like I said, he's Luther Ellis's kid. I think Luther also played at Utah, played in the NFL for a bunch of years, was a defensive tackle. 5 years. And Russell Wilson is not a Big Ten guy. He finished his career there. He played 4 years at NC State. My God, 5 years. Let's see. Edgerrin Cooper. I love. Hey, you want to hear something? Jeremiah Trotter's not rated high. He's got a 75 number on him. Rumor swirling of Bill Belly getting fired Tuesday. JPP wants a practice squad contract with contender thoughts. I don't know. You're not on a football team now. I don't know. Does he really have anything left? And does that something that the Eagles would want to put on their team? Is Jason Pierre-Paul? You know, I always thought Jason Pierre-Paul was a good player. I covered him at USF. I never thought he was super sensational, though. Okay? Whatever what, dude. Big Ten sucks at quarterback. Face it. Deal with it. Whatever. Jeremiah Trotter does not have a high grade. He's not had a good year. That could be a benefit to the Eagles. The Clemson team has not had a good year. They're 5-4. And he has not looked good this year. The defense has been run on. And when you look at his metrics, he's 6 feet. He's 225. Now, is that somebody that could play in that system? To me, you put him at Will, you put him at Sam. That's a bet. Hey, if Jeremiah Trotter's in the second or third round, I'm taking him. Okay? I'm taking him. Because put him on that team. Let's see what he can do. Last year, he was a highly rated kid. This year, he's not. Even Pro Football Focus doesn't have a good rate on him. Because this year, he has had a poor season. The entire Clemson defense has been destroyed this year many times. Shit, man. I think they lost to Duke. Now I'm going to look at some of the guys that are in the pro side. Hey, don't fall in love with the guy's named Trotter just because it's Jeremiah Trotter's kid. What's that got to do with drafting a guy? Once again, you fall in love with a name like you do with every single guy on your football team right now. You're going to get in trouble. Howie doesn't fall in love with him. Why do you? What's that got to do with anything when it comes to winning? Has nothing to do with winning. Okay? Nothing. All right. Free agency. And I went with the positions that the Eagles don't want to spend a ton of money on. Okay? And I looked at some of these guys. Derrick Henry's going to be a free agent. However, he's going to be 30. Does that help you? Would you make a run at Derrick Henry this offseason if you're Howie Roseman? Knowing what you're looking at now with your run game. At 30. Can I tell you what you get here? Maybe get him cheaper. Because he's not going to command top dollar number in the offseason. Do you give him $7.5? Would you give Derrick Henry $7.5 million to come play in Philly? Behind that old line. You're not signing Swift. Oh, you may now because, I don't know, maybe, depending on what he gets at the end of the year, what his numbers are. That'll be a pretty tough sign. He's a free agent too. Okay? Jacobs will be a free agent, but I don't know. I think he's younger, and you're going to have to spend top dollar for him. So I don't think Howie would go down that route. How about Xavier McKinney, Giants safety? He's 24. He's going to be a free agent. And I don't know if the Giants are going to redo his deal. Again, a lot of this stuff is pending also. Bobby Wagner to help shore up that linebacking core. I thought he signed a 2-year deal. Okay? King goes like this. The Eagles don't pay running backs. Isn't it funny? The positions on your football team that have underachieved this year have been red zone backs, linebackers, and safeties. Isn't it crazy? The places they don't spend the money, the places you've been hurt the most this year in games. I don't think there's a coincidence to that. Follow the money. Your edge rushers are good. Your tackles are good because you spend all the equity there. But the places that you have not spent money on have affected you. Running back. You haven't replaced Miles Sanders. You have not. 11 touchdowns, 1,300 yards. I don't see that coming up so far. I don't. As much as I like Swift, he's not replaced that number. You haven't replaced Sayamalo. You can't pay everybody in the O-line. I get it. But you haven't. I mean, you guys are talking to me about Juergens coming back and helping the run game. Well, that means that no one at the right guard position, and it's been a factor, right? And is Jalen Hurts still the leading touchdown getter for the Eagles running the ball for touchdowns? I think he's got 7, right? If you put all the running backs together, does it come up to 7? So your quarterback is your leading rusher in the red zone on touchdowns, right? You think that's a good thing? I thought you were trying to help him. I thought you were trying to protect him. He's got 7 touchdowns. Okay, this is also about preservation and preserving the kid. Hey, Jalen's got 33 touchdowns in his career. He's got something, whatever it is, passing the ball, 250-something, I think it is like. And like, you want him to be Cam Newton? Okay. Devin White might be a little too expensive for you. He's going to be a free agent. I love this kid. Antonio Winfield, according to Bruce Arians, they're not going to redo his deal. How about Austin Eckler? Think about this, for instance. If you guys don't bring back Swift, Eckler's going to be a free agent with the Chargers. Would you think of bringing him in? Boy, I think that'd be a nice fit. I love Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler would be somebody that Howie, I think, would like. Doesn't he make only like $3.5 million or something like that too? Isn't that right up the ballpark for the Eagles at Austin Eckler? Isn't he like around $3 million? Billy, that's pretty good too, because he does have some injury on him. Okay. Yeah, but running backs aren't going to get paid. I'll say this about White. If you're talking about him, he is going to want to get paid. And he's going to want to be in that Roquan Smith money. Jordan Brooks, Seahawks linebacker. The kid's good. A kid is good, man. And he has been a really big time, really pleasant surprise this year. But he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year here. Okay? He's going to be a free agent at the end of the season here. Kenny Moore, Colts, another guy to look at. And now again, unless they redo these contracts, cornerback. These are all areas that I think Howie's going to look at. By the way, man, that guy Xavier McKinney for the Giants, if they don't redo him and he's a safety and he's 24, I might want to knock on that door. Ronald Darby, Ravens, having a great year. They'll probably redo him. Wait till I get to the last guy here. How about Micah Hyde, Bills? Sean McDermott's system would kind of like fit in pretty good in Philly, knowing the kind of way they play defense up there. It would be something that he would kind of maybe be able to slide right in and play in Philly. I like him. I think he's a damn good football player. How about this one? I don't believe that they're going to sign this guy. How about Curse with the Cowboys? You weaken an opponent. He's a safety. I thought he was awful good on Sunday. How about Curse? So wait, think about now, before you say they're going to sign him, really? They got Dak to sign. They got to deal with Lamb. They got to deal with Parsons. They got to deal with that right tackle. Okay? You really think they're going to? Where's the money? Where's the money? Don't you understand when you got a guy like Curse, you weaken your opponent even more? Holy cow. Because he's a Cowboy? That's like saying that you would never have wanted Emmitt Smith on your team because he was a Cowboy. How dumb is that? You weaken the Cowboys and you make your team better by adding Emmitt. No, he's a Cowboy. I can't have him. It can't be dumber. Okay? It can't be dumber. Curse is pretty good. Better than anything we got currently. Absolutely. That's the point of this. I'm not talking about bringing a guy in that stinks. How sick would the Star if Mike comes to Philly? Mike ain't coming to Philly. Jerry's going to do whatever it can. He's going to back the Brinks truck up to that guy and give him whatever that guy needs. Micah doesn't even want to be in Dallas. Why would he not want to be in Dallas? That's like saying you don't want to play center field for the Yankees. Okay? What guy outside of Jalen Hurts has a national commercial on the Eagles? Can you tell me? I think I've seen AJ somewhere. Have I not seen AJ somewhere? I thought I saw AJ Brown on a commercial somewhere, maybe. Maybe I know that the Heisman House on College Saturdays, I see Devontae because they do that Heisman with Dr. Pepper. But I really don't see anybody. I see a ton of Cowboy guys. Okay? Kelsey Kelsey brothers, right? Okay. Got to take a time out. By the way, yeah, because I think Kelsey, Fletch, and Mulata have a National Tides laundry commercial. Love it. Cowboy guys, ton of those guys have. You're in Dallas. It's like playing with the Yankees. And by the way, that's the way the national media wants it. Hey, guys, do me a favor. Don't forget our great contest we have right now with Hooters. Tone's going to throw a code word out throughout the entire 4 hours of the show. You give us your information and emails, dancilioshow@gmail.com. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for what you guys have done with that. You send it to us, you get an opportunity potentially to win some merchandise and also some gift certificates. Hooters winners last week were Kenneth and also Carlos. Congratulations to you guys. And we'll name the winners on a football money. And November is Happy Wingsgiving from Hooters. And all the iconic Hooter girls want to thank you, along with everyone there from Rhode Island all the way down through King of Prussia, New Jersey. They want to thank you guys for so much love by going into the places. They want to have a special each and every single day for you. Ice Cold Coors Light drafts, $2.99, 25 cents goes to local charities. The Hooter calendars 2024 is out. All you have to do is pick these things up. You can go online at northeasthooters.com to get one of these calendars. There's $100 worth of coupons that are inside the calendar as well. The lunch specials, fantastic, 11:30 to 3, boneless wings. Military Mondays, 20% off. Wing Wednesdays, 1983, the year the place was found, and kids eat for free on Saturdays. Northeasthooters.com. That's northeasthooters.com. When you roll into any one of the places, please tell them Big Sil sent you.
Football and Hooters, the